Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome. Sorry it has been so long. I know I really want to try and make more videos. I thought it'd be kind of fun to give you guys a little insight on kind of what I do on an everyday basis. Yeah, if you think that would be fun, keep watching. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna make this a series or not. I might, depending on how much I have to talk about. I have a little notepad and I have my laptop on little talking points that I want to go through, but I'm not really sure where this might go. So I hope you stick with it and let's get going. So I think the first thing that I want to address is what I do on an everyday basis, what is my full-time job. And I'm actually a project manager, specifically an IT project manager. So I work in the IT fields, managing projects. And I know, especially when I talk to like family and friends who don't know what project managers are, and I tell them that I'm a project manager, they're like, what? They're kind of like, oh, okay, that's nice, you know, but they don't really go into it all that much because they don't really understand what a project manager is. And if you hear the word project manager, you kind of infer that it's managing projects, which is true. We do manage projects, but it is so much more than that, and it is a lot more complicated than I think a lot of people realize. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna sit here and tell people what to do, or I just kind of, you know, communicate with people. And there's just so much that a project manager does and who they are and what they're responsible for. But if you're unfamiliar with what a project manager is, essentially it's a person who is overall in charge of planning and the execution of a project to completion. And just to be clear, a project can be many different things depending on what industry you're in, and they can be big and small or anything like that. But one of the things that every project has in common is that there's a beginning and an end. It's not, you know, a continuous effort that's going to last forever. It's not maintenance work. It's not something you do on a daily basis. It definitely has a start and a finish. So that makes a project. I'm not really sure where to go from there. I think, let me go into a little bit more. Project management has been around for a very long time, and there's actually a professional organization or group that oversees project management as a methodology, as a tool, as a profession, to kind of set the standards on what to expect from project management. Because, you know, if you set standards, it can help people follow the standards, if that makes sense. And that is the PMI, which is Project Management Institute. So that is I believe it's a worldwide organization. They have different chapters within there. So I'm actually a part of the PMI Minnesota chapter, which I just found out is like one of the most highly renowned chapters in the entire PMI organization, which I thought was pretty cool. And it's the most engaged chapter. Being a part of those gives you access to a whole bunch of different resources. And so I'm currently trying to work through those resources because there's so much there. And sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming, especially from a new project manager. And I think that's where I want to go next, is kind of like my history, how I got into being a project manager. I think that's a good starting point now that I think about it. So back in college, I originally was a biology major, and I took organic chemistry, quickly found out I didn't want to be a biology major anymore. So I switched over to computer science because I've been a tech geek my entire life. I love solving problems. I love, you know, creating things and then you get to see it. I just love technology as a whole. It's very cool and innovative and I love like being involved in that. I was trying, as I got closer to graduation, I was trying to figure out what would be a good career to go into because I mean, I liked coding. It's fun to create things, but I didn't think I wanted to make a career, a profession. I didn't want to go into that because I didn't want to sit behind the desk and code every single day, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And sure, the money is probably pretty good, but that's just not what I wanted to do. So I think it's important that I realized I didn't want to do that because it kind of steers you into a different direction. It was technically a computer science, computer information systems degree. Part of that was a lot of management information systems. So it's not even just coding, building databases, things like that, but it's also kind of like the business side behind it. So creating processes, meeting with stakeholders. One of my classes, my senior year, was this class called Systems Implementation course, which was essentially a capstone class. So we actually had a real life client that we worked with. It wasn't a simulation or just like a task that we did. It was an actual real life client that was working with the school and we were tasked with creating a website for them. And through all of this stuff, we actually did a lot of project management things. That's our professor was actually the project management director of the master's degree. So he very much pushed project management principles. So we did do a lot of Scrum. So we had daily Scrum. So every morning we would meet and discuss what we worked on the previous day, what we're going to work on today, and if there were any challenges. And the change, not really managing people, but I like kind of leading the direction of where we should be going, if that makes sense. And so I was like, oh, this is something that I really enjoy. Fast forward to graduation, I did really badly at applying for jobs, didn't really find anything, and because of my tech background I got a job at a credit union where I worked in their IT department, but I was doing a lot of like system maintenance, database stuff, application support, and basically everything that I didn't want to do. Application support, those are all things that I told myself I would never want to do. And I didn't realize at the time, but after a lot of research, I realized it's very difficult to get a project manager job unless you have at least, like if you look at job descriptions for project manager positions, a lot of them say at least 5 to 10 years of experience and a PMP, which is a project management professional degree, which also takes a lot of hours and a lot of years of experience of being a project manager to even get to take the test. So essentially, in a nutshell, what I was trying to say is a lot of project manager jobs require a lot of project management experience and years being a formal project manager. Being someone who hasn't had any formal project management jobs, or really, I had that job, I had that class where I was a project manager, where not even a project manager, we did project management things for that project. So it's kind of like that catch-22 thing where it's, you need experience to get a job. Ooh, I got a text message. But where you need experience to get a job, but you also need a job to get experience. So I found myself in that catch-22 experience. So I worked at the credit union job for about a year, I would say. So I pretty much spent my entire, when I got home from work, I pretty much spent my entire evenings on job posting sites like LinkedIn and Indeed.com and Google and different companies that I was interested in working for, and kind of monitoring their job posting sites. And I spent so much time, like, I am not exaggerating, I spent so much time, like, I'm even trying to formulate a number to give you an estimate on it, to try and find something that I would be interested in, that would help me further my career. One fateful day, I was searching online and I found a job. It was an IT project manager 1 position, and pretty much the requirements were to have a 4-year degree. And I was like, oh, I've got the 4-year degree. Tick. Another one was knowledge or ability to learn agile methodologies. And I have the ability to learn anything, I believe. And also in my college course, we learned a lot about agile methodologies. So I was like, oh, I got that one in the bag. Tick. And another really important one was knowledge or ability to learn Microsoft SharePoint. And actually, fate has it that my previous job that I had was being a SharePoint admin for the credit union. So I was like, yeah, I got that. So I actually applied on the very last day that they were accepting applications. So I applied, and I would say a couple days later, I got an email saying that my resume was forwarded to the hiring manager. So I was like, oh, this is really exciting. Like, I got somewhere instead of just radio silence and you never hear from them, because that happens with so many jobs where they don't even follow up with you. Then a couple days after that, I got a phone call. I was in a meeting, so I couldn't answer it, but the voicemail was that I was selected for a phone interview. So I had the phone interview a couple days later with one of the project managers at the company, and it was basically basic screening questions for phone interview. You know, what do you think a project manager does? Do you have any questions for us about the interview process? Sort of things like that. So thankfully I passed that, because I got another phone call the next day asking to set up an in-person interview. So gladly I did that. And that interview was very intense, because it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There was 5 or 6 other people in the room with me, and I did not know that it was going to be a panel interview when I got there. So when I walked into the room, I was instantly like, there's other people in here. Like, I wasn't expecting it, because I like to prepare myself ahead of time before interviews. And so that was a bit shocking. So I was a bit shocked by that. But thankfully I ended up passing that one, and then I had another in-person interview after that. And then I got a call saying that they would like to offer me the position, and I was so excited. And basically, because of that decision, I basically had to change my entire life, sort of. Like, if you've been following on my channel, you would know that I moved, and that was because I got this new job that's in the city. It's across town, and I wanted to be closer to the light rail to get downtown, because I don't want to drive, and also because I was living at home at the time with my parents, and I felt like this job was kind of the catalyst to start my own real adult life and move out and live on my own and kind of create my own home. And it's been really exciting. I've had my boyfriend come stay over here, and it's just given me a lot of freedom and also confidence. Like, that's one thing that I found, is I've gotten a lot of confidence from being on my own and having to make my own decisions, and it's really exciting. I really like it. there's a lot of things about being an adult that isn't so fun, like paying bills and having to make some tough decisions. But I think, you know, it's something that everyone has to go through, unfortunately. So I try to do it with a smile on my face whenever I can, because life's too short to be a Debbie Downer about it. That kind of took a little tangent right there, but that's essentially my road to being a project manager where I am today. And I've only been there for about, it'll be 3 months. So I've been there about 3 months now, and it feels like I've been there forever. Like, honestly, it's been one of those things where I'm like, it's only been 3 months. Like, time has gone so fast, but also so slow at the same time. I've rambled for a very long time, so I think I might cut it off here, just because my throat is also getting a bit sore, which is really crazy. I'm actually quite proud of myself. Yeah, giving myself a pat on the back. I think it's important to acknowledge when you've done well for yourself. So that is a little insight on how I've gotten to where I am right now as far as career-wise. Please let me know. I think I might want to do a little more of a series on I have some video ideas where I can talk about tips for being a new project manager, issues that I've been going through, struggles. There's a lot of struggles, successes, story times if you want. Just in case you've stumbled across this video as a new project manager and you are worried about it. Trust me, I've been there, done that, still am there, still doing that. I think it's important to realize that we're all human and we all make mistakes and we all learn. And so just know that we're all in this together, and I really think that this could be really cool to be able to share experiences and also learn from each other. I think I've rambled enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this made a little bit more sense. I am going to head out. I have to go to the gym tonight and have to relax. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!